Systems can exist without any fancy tools, but tools are completely useless without the systems. You can buy all of the fanciest kitchen tools. You can get a professional grade mixer, top of the line knives, the works. But if you don't know how to cook or have a process for preparing meals, those tools are just going to be expensive decorations that are taking up space on your counter. Your subscriptions are adding up, but nothing is actually working because you never built the underlying processes. Even if it's just a simple checklist or a step-by-step document, the future you and anyone that you hire will thank you. Setting up systems is not a one and done kind of thing. The bottom line here is you don't need more tools. You probably have enough tools already. What you need are systems, clear, documented processes for how your business operates. Hey, and welcome to another episode of Tips Tuesday. We are actually going to be wrapping up the series for the end of the year today. And my hope is that we end on something that is going to save you some frustration as we move into 2026, okay? And that's understanding the difference between systems and tools. Because what I see happen all the time is that business owners invest in all of the right tools, but their business still feels chaotic. Projects are falling through the cracks and nothing feels smooth or efficient. And then they're thinking like, well, maybe I need a better tool. But the problem actually isn't the tool. The problem is that they don't have a system. I want you to think about it like this. You can buy all of the fanciest kitchen tools. You can get a professional grade mixer, top of the line knives, the works. But if you don't know how to cook or have a process for preparing meals, those tools are just going to be expensive decorations that are taking up space on your counter. Okay, so your business tools work the same way. Let's talk about the difference between tools and systems. So a tool is the actual software, the platforms, the applications that you use in your business. So some examples of that would be your CRM. Think like your Moxie, Honeybooks, Dipsados, or whatever it is that you are using as a CRM. Any type of project management platform. So Asana, ClickUp, Trello, things in that nature. Email marketing software. You have your Kits, MailChimp, Flowdesk, just to name a few. Scheduling software such as Calendly or Acuity, any type of accounting software that you use like QuickBooks, Wave, or Xero. And then if you're using any type of design platform, Canva, Adobe, or whatever it is that you use, those are the tools. The tools are the what you are using to get things done. You can go buy a tool right now. You can sign up, pay the subscription, and then boom, you have the tool, right? But having the tool doesn't mean your business suddenly runs smoothly. That's where systems comes in. And a system is the process, the workflow, or the repeatable series of steps that you follow to get something done. It's the how you actually use your tools to accomplish specific outcomes in your business. So some examples of systems would be your client onboarding system. So how you take someone from just signed the contract to their first project meeting scheduled. The content creation system, how you go from an idea in your head to an actual published blog post. Your invoicing system, when you send invoices, how you follow up on the unpaid ones, how you handle late payments. All of those are your invoicing system. Your leads nurturing system, what happens when someone downloads your freebie or they fill out your contact form. Your project delivery system, if you're in the service industry, the steps you follow from kickoff to completion for every single client. So systems are the processes. They are repeatable, they have steps, they have a beginning, and they have an end. And here's the thing, systems can exist without any fancy tools, but tools are completely useless without the systems. Let me give you a real example from Studio117 Creative. The tool is Moxie, so that's the software that I pay for. And then the system is what happens when a new client signs a contract. So they get an automated welcome email with next steps. Their project questionnaire is sent automatically. Their invoice generates and sends to them. Once they pay it, they get access to their client portal. They receive their project timeline. The meeting scheduler is sent out to them for them to schedule their first meeting. And then they're added to my project management board, and they get the reminder emails that they need at key points throughout our working relationship. That entire flow, that is my system. So Moxie is the tool I use to execute that system. I could switch to a different CRM tomorrow. And trust me, I've been through several of them. You can switch the tool. The system is, again, how you are getting it done. And the thing is, when I switch the tool, I will always need to recreate my system in that tool. So my onboarding still would work smoothly. So do we see the difference here? The tool is replaceable. The system is what actually runs your business. So here's why people confuse them. Someone's business feels chaotic. They're dropping balls, they're missing deadlines, they're forgetting to follow up with leads, and they think, so they buy a fancy project management tool or CRM or some productivity app that they saw someone recommend on Instagram. They set it up or kind of set it up, use it for a week, and then boom, nothing changes. That's because they didn't need a tool, they needed a system. On the flip side, what happens is someone has great systems in place, so they have clear processes, they've documented workflows, but they're executing everything manually. They have their hands on every single step. So you're copying and pasting, you're sending the same email over and over manually, tracking things in spreadsheets, and you're probably exhausted and overwhelmed. Now, you don't need better systems. You need better tools to automate and streamline what you already have. So the sweet spot between the two is when you have both, when you have clear systems, processes that work, and then good tools. So the software that executes those systems efficiently. That's when your business starts to feel smooth. That's when things stop falling through the cracks. That's when you can actually scale without losing your mind. So I want to go through some of the common mistakes that people make, and you may recognize some of them, okay? The first one being buying tools without building systems. So you sign up for every tool that promises to transform your business. Your subscriptions are adding up, but nothing is actually working because you never built the underlying processes. The way that you fix that is by building your system first. Or if you already have the tool, walking it back for a second, building it out on paper, and then mapping out the process and seeing if the tool that you're using can execute it. If it doesn't, then you may need to find the tool that's going to execute it the best for you. The second one is building complex systems before you actually need them. I've been guilty of this one. This is where you're trying to create elaborate, perfect systems for every little thing in your business before you even have the clients or the revenue. The fix for this is really just starting simple. Build the systems as you need them. So your first system should probably be the onboarding process if you have clients, or content creation if you're building an audience. Anything else, you can build it as you get into your flow. The third mistake is not documenting your systems. So if you're walking around and you have all of the systems up here in your head, but you haven't written anything down anywhere, and something breaks, you can't figure out what went wrong, or when you want help, you can't explain to someone else what to do. The fix here is to document your systems. Even if it's just a simple checklist or a step-by-step document, the future you and anyone that you hire will thank you. Okay. The fourth mistake is using tools for the wrong systems. So this is for those of you that want to try and fit a square peg into a circle hole. You are trying to force a tool to do something it wasn't designed for because you don't want to pay for another subscription or any of the other reasons that people do this. The fix is to match your tools to your systems. If a tool does not support your process, either change the tool or adjust the process, but don't fight against the tool, okay? Number 5 is never reviewing or improving your systems. So setting up systems is not a one and done kind of thing. Once you set your system up, if you never look at it again, then it may stop working Or your business may even evolve and need some tweaks and adjustments, right? You need to make sure that you are reviewing your systems regularly. I would say reviewing them at least annually, but probably quarterly is going to be best. And that's just stopping for a minute to take a look at what's working, what's not working, what's changed in your business that might require you to update your systems. Let's talk about how systems and tools actually work together. So I want to show you how this works in practice with a few more Studio 117 examples. The first one being content creation. So my content creation process is I brainstorm the topics and then choose one, draft the content, edit and finalize it, create the graphics, and then schedule and publish. The tools that actually support this system are Google Docs for drafting, Canva for creating graphics, WordPress for publishing the blog posts, Kit for sending out the email newsletters. And then for some of my client work that I'm actually doing content for, we use Asana for tracking what stage each of the pieces of content are in. So the system is the process. The tools help me execute efficiently. The second example is the lead follow-up process. So this is what happens when someone fills out a form on my website. They get an instant automated reply confirming that I have received it, because there's nothing worse than submitting a form and then wondering like, well, did they get it? When should I expect a response? So I make sure that I send an automated reply that confirms that it's been received. I also set up so that I get a notification letting me know that someone has submitted a form. And then I try to respond within 24 hours or one business day with answers and any next steps. If they don't respond within 3 days, then they get a follow-up. And if they book a call, they enter my client onboarding process. If they don't book, then I may add them to my newsletter for future nurturing. So the tools that support this system are the forms that are on my website. And I use two different types of forms. One is from a WordPress plugin, and then the other one is right within my CRM, Moxie. You have Moxie for sending the automated emails and follow-ups. And if I'm using the WordPress plugin, WP Forms on my website, then it also has some automated emails set up within it. Email, which is going to be, or Google Workspace, which is for like my actual responses to anything that they may have sent me or the automated responses that I got from the forms. Moxie is booking the calls, and then Kit again for the newsletter. So the system again is the flow, the tools that make it happen without me having to do manual labor. Okay. So building your first system if you don't have one. If you're realizing you have tools but no systems, here's where I want you to start. I want you to pick one thing that happens regularly in your business. So whether that's getting new clients onboarded, publishing content, following up with leads, invoicing and getting paid, or delivering your service and or products, right? I want you to map out what the current reality is. So write down every step that currently happens or that should happen from start to finish. And you have to be really honest with yourself, including even the messy parts and the steps that you forget half of the time. This is like the perfect case scenario. From there, you're going to need to identify the gaps. So where do things fall apart? What gets forgotten? What takes too long? What's manual that you wish could be automated? And then design the ideal workflow. So what should be happening at each stage? What's the smoothest, most efficient way to move from start to finish? And then document that, writing it down, making a checklist, creating a flow chart, just to get it out of your head and onto paper or a screen if you want to use like Google Docs or something like that. And from there is where you can find the right tools. So now you can look for tools that support the system. You know what you need the tool to do, so you can evaluate the options based on whether they fit your process or not. And once you have decided on a tool, you want to set it up, test it, see what works, what doesn't, adjust as needed. And then again, the systems are not set it and forget it. So they're going to evolve as your business evolves. The bottom line here is you don't need more tools. You probably have enough tools already, especially if you're like me. What you need are systems. clear, documented processes for how your business operates. And once you have those systems in place, the right tools will make executing them so much easier. But the tools without the systems is just expensive chaos. Okay. So, your action step for this week, we just talked about it, is going to be to audit your tools, identify your systems, choose one system to build or improve, map it out, write it down, be specific, document the process, and then evaluate if your current tools are supporting what you are trying to accomplish. This is work that you can do over the holiday break when things are hopefully a little bit slower, or at the top of the year. You can start 2026 with at least one solid system in place. Okay. So I just want to give a little update here. We are going to be taking a break. This is the last Tips Tuesday email of 2025. From December 15th for the rest of the year, I will be taking time off and returning back in the studio on January 5th. This time is just for rest, reflection, and overall just being able to recharge. Running a business as a solopreneur means that I have to be intentional about taking breaks. And so here we are. Tips Tuesdays will be back in your inbox in early 2026. We will pick up with the content pillar that we did not get to finish this year, but I think it is going to be a great opportunity if you take this time to kind of go through what we've talked about already, and then diving into content will feel a little bit smoother and like a natural evolution of what we've already done. I just want to take the time to thank you for letting me share what I know and for trusting Studio 117 with your questions and your business needs. You guys make this work feel like it's not really work, and I'm just here having a good time with friends, and I appreciate that more than you know. If you are looking for help with building systems, then get in touch. We can get you on the schedule for the top of 2026. We can do a strategy call to see what systems you have that are actually working. We can make a plan for systems that maybe you need. And I just want to wish you a happy holiday season, whatever it is that you celebrate or don't celebrate. I hope that you find moments for rest, joy, and peace. And until next time.